They called her Miss Maggie, just the cleaner. Invisible, forgettable. The woman who swept the halls while others made decisions. But then, the siren screamed, the base went dark, and no one, not even the general, knew what to do, except her. She reached into her mop cart and unlocked a system no one else even knew existed. Because 20 years ago, she was not a janitor. She was Ghost Division. And now, in just 8 minutes, she would either save them all or vanish forever. Careful, that coffee machine spits if you press too fast. Private Keegan glanced over surprised. Miss Maggie stood beside him, mop in one hand, spray bottle in the other. He chuckled awkwardly. "You know this machine better than the tech guys." She smiled kindly. "Been watching it break since before you joined, son." He gave a polite nod, then walked away, never asking her name, never asking how long she'd been here. Nobody ever did. For 23 years, Maggie mopped those same gray corridors, polished the glass doors of the control room, and wiped the muddy boots off floors that no one else cared about. She knew every blind spot in the surveillance system, every backup generator hum, every time the base changed protocols without telling her. She saw everything, but no one saw her. "Hey, Moplandy," a voice called from the hallway. "You missed a spot." It was Lieutenant Cross, smug, fresh out of officer school, sharp uniform, and even sharper tongue. Maggie simply nodded and mopped over the already clean tile again. Behind her, 2 soldiers laughed. She heard it all, but said nothing. She had seen men like Cross come and go like wind through mesh. Arrogant, fast-talking, blind. But something was different today. Maggie had noticed it an hour earlier. The tech room lights flickered. A server door was left open. A secure access panel was unlatched, but only someone with deep clearance could reach it. And then, just after 1400 hours, the sirens wailed. Base lockdown, code red. Red lights flashed. Steel shutters dropped. Radios buzzed with static. Then silence, followed by system override, main controls disabled, command inaccessible, external comms offline. A voice repeated the warning overhead, flat, robotic. Chaos followed. People ran in circles. No one knew who triggered the alert or why the systems were failing. And the general, locked out of his own control room. That was when someone noticed Maggie. She was still mopping. Calm, focused, not panicked. "Miss Maggie," said the head technician, breathless, "do you know what is happening?" She looked up, slowly, calmly. "Yes," she said, "I do." Inside her mop cart was not just soap and rags. There was a pass card, a key, a folded paper, yellowed with age marked, "In case of breach." And as soldiers shouted and systems blinked, she stepped forward. No one knew who she really was, or what she used to be, or how she had waited for this exact day. And now, she had 8 minutes to stop what was coming. The control center smelled of panic. Dozens of officers huddled over blank monitors. Screens flickered. Radios chirped without response. Every system they trusted offline. Doors sealed. Power redirected. Cameras looped dead footage. And through the chaos, Maggie walked in. "Who let the janitor in here?" barked Lieutenant Cross, arms flailing. "We are in a critical lockdown." But no one answered, because the general, Major Stone himself, was watching her with a strange look. "Maggie, is that your pass card?" She held up a rectangular badge. It gleamed in the red lights. It did not say custodial. It said Tier 1 clearance, Omega Protocol. Lieutenant Cross blinked. What is Omega Protocol? The general did not respond. Maggie stepped past him and walked to the back wall, toward a panel long sealed and half forgotten. She slid the card in. Click. A steel panel hissed open, revealing an old keypad and a single switch labeled Secure Core Override. 30 years ago, she began, her voice calm and clear. This base was built with a failsafe, a buried core command node, disconnected from the main grid, in case of digital invasion or internal betrayal. Cross scoffed. This is absurd. You're a janitor. I was, she said. Before that, I was an encryption specialist. Before that, I helped design this base. And before that, she turned now, eyes locking with his, steady and unshaken. I served under the name Margaret D. Reyes, Intelligence Corps, Ghost Division. Silence fell like a hammer. The general's mouth parted slightly. Your Ghost Division? Maggie nodded once. I retired after my team was lost in the Sudan Black Site incident. I did not want medals. I wanted peace. So I came here. I kept sweeping. I watched the systems, the people, the gaps no one else noticed. Her hands moved swiftly now. She typed a command into the hidden keypad, an override string no one else remembered. Access level granted. Emergency core restore. 8-minute countdown. Initiated. The countdown began, and with it, the base came alive. Backup lights surged. Ventilation roared. Secondary screens booted. One by one, subsystems came back online through her command channel. She's rerouting from the deep core failsafe, whispered the head tech. Nobody's touched that system since the Cold War. Cross stepped forward, face red. You can't do this! You do not have authority! Actually, said the general, voice heavy, with awe, she outranks you. Then he stepped aside. Keep going, Reyes. Maggie's fingers flew, her voice calm, her mind focused. 7 minutes remained. Outside the room, soldiers gathered. Some peeked through the glass. They saw not a cleaner. They saw a woman rewriting the fate of the base in real time. Inside, one tech whispered, "She has memorized the dead channels." Another said, "She bypassed the corrupted layers." But no one dared interrupt her. Not now. Not with lives at stake. Not with the base in her hands. And while she worked, a second alarm triggered. This one, deeper, lower, older. The emergency systems had uncovered something no one expected. A hidden code, a planted script. Not a system error, a silent takeover. Someone had installed it manually, from inside the base. And when Maggie saw the name hidden in the logs, her fingers stopped. Her breath caught. Because it was someone she once trusted. Someone she believed was long gone. And that betrayal was not just technical. It was personal.
6 minutes, 2 seconds remaining. The screen blinked. Internal threat signature. Identified. Name, Lieutenant Colonel Dorian Vance. Status, deceased. Officially. Maggie's hand hovered over the console. Her mind flooded with memories she had locked away years ago, buried under the quiet of cleaning floors, forgotten behind decades of silence. Dorian Vance, the man who once stood beside her, the only other survivor of their Ghost Division unit, the man she believed had died in Sudan. But he had not died. He had gone underground, and now he was the one behind the code, threatening the very base she had sworn never to return to. "Maggie?" the general asked. "What is it?" She stared at the blinking name for a second longer, then turned away. "Just a ghost," she said quietly. The override sequence was halfway complete, but the threat had changed. This was no longer a technical breach. This was a trap. The planted script had been designed not just to shut down systems, but to reroute all control to one hidden terminal. That terminal was still active somewhere on base, and Maggie knew exactly where it would be. She grabbed her cart, still camouflaging her emergency gear, and turned to the general. "I need full access to Sublevel 3. No one comes with me." Lieutenant Cross stepped forward. "Absolutely not. That wing is sealed for a reason. I designed it. It is where he would hide." Cross opened his mouth again, but the general cut him off. "Let her through." Sublevel 3 was like entering a forgotten tomb. The walls were darker. Dust clung to corners untouched for years. Old wires snaked along ceilings. The emergency lights cast a sickly red glow. And at the far end, past steel doors and collapsed panels, was the echo room. Once used for silent encryption briefings, now it buzzed softly, with life. She stepped inside, and there, standing at the old terminal, fingers moving over keys like he had never left, was Dorian Vance. He did not flinch. "I knew you would come, Maggie," he said without turning. His voice was older, but not weak. She stood silently, watching him. "You always liked the mop," he added with a smirk. "What are you doing here?" she asked coldly. "I came back for what we were promised, for what they buried. You kept cleaning floors. I rewrote the system. I own this place now." "No," she said calmly. "You infected it. I am here to clean that too." He finally turned, eyes sharp, almost sad. "You do not understand what is coming. I understand betrayal. You think this is just a base shutdown? This is phase 1. This whole facility is just the fuse, and you just delayed detonation. But you cannot stop it. You never could." Maggie stepped forward, heart racing. "You know what I am capable of, Dorian. You trained beside me, but you forgot the one thing that matters." He paused. "I did not run. I stayed. I watched, and while you hid in the shadows, I prepared." She reached into her mop cart and pulled out the master disruptor key, one she had hidden there for years, waiting for a moment like this. Dorian lunged, but she moved faster. With one press, the system screamed. Code shattered. His scripts collapsed like a deck of cards. Override neutralized. Internal control restored. Secure mode complete. Back in the control room, lights flared green. Officers gasped. The general whispered, "She did it." And the timer? 000:08 remaining. Exactly. Because she had promised herself if she ever had to face him again, she would end it in under 8 minutes. And she had. But it was not over yet. As the base roared back to life, a silent alert flashed on the corner screen. One final signal from an external channel. One Maggie did not recognize. And this time, it was not coming from inside the base. It was coming for it. The final alert blinked faint but steady in the top corner of the screen. Incoming signal. Unidentified channel. 12 miles out. Flight path. Directed towards base core. Maggie's hand froze. This was not over. Dorian's system had been neutralized, but not without consequence. His final script had acted as a beacon. Someone had been listening, and now it was coming. She raced back up the corridor as lights across the base surged again, this time with new, unfamiliar patterns. Outside, radar towers began rotating faster. Technicians stared at blinking maps, showing a fast-moving object heading straight towards them, unregistered, silent, dangerously low. The general met her halfway in the elevator tunnel. "What is it, Reyes?" "Unknown aircraft, no ID. That code you saw, Dorian's, was not just sabotage, it was a handshake, a call sign." The general nodded grimly. "We are not done." "Not yet," she replied. Back in the command room, officers shouted updates. "No transponder, no response to hail. Estimated 90 seconds to impact. We do not have clearance to fire." The system had been reset, but certain weapon systems required dual confirmation codes, and one of them had been decommissioned years ago. There was silence. No one moved, until Maggie stepped forward again. She reached into her mop cart, now emptied of disguise, and pulled out a small black case. Inside was a retired command badge buried under cloth. She placed it beside the general's and inserted both into the system override slot. Weapon system reactivated, legacy override granted. A technician gasped. You still had activation?" She said quietly, "I never returned it, because I knew one day I might need to stop something no one else saw coming." The general looked at her, not with command, but with respect. "Take the shot," he said. Outside, a drone-mounted missile launched into the pale sky. The room held its breath. On screen, the radar dot blinked closer, then vanished. Threat neutralized. Detonation in airspace. No collateral impact. The room exploded in cheers. The general let out a long breath. But Maggie, she just stepped back. Quiet, calm, exactly as she had arrived. Hours later, the base was secure. The lockdown lifted. Personnel escorted out slowly. Reporters blocked at the gates. And Maggie stood outside watching the sun rise over the edge of the desert. A young soldier approached her. "Miss Maggie?" She turned. "You saved the entire base today. We were all looking the wrong way. We never even asked what you did before this." She smiled gently. "You saw what I did today. That's all that matters." He nodded, eyes soft. "Where will you go now?" She looked out towards the hills. Toward nothing in particular. Home, maybe get some rest. Maybe not mop floors for a while. "But you could be a commander, a hero. People should know who you are." Maggie looked at him, eyes kind. "I am not here to be known. I was here to do the right thing when no one else could see it." And with that, she turned, pushed her cart slowly towards the edge of the base, and disappeared with the rising light. She was the woman they overlooked until the day she saved them all. And sometimes the greatest heroes don't need medals, just a mop and a mission no one else could see.